Hello students, good morning to all of you. Today here I will teach you Science chapter 14, Unit 6. So this is our last chapter for half yearly portion. Okay, so please all of you listen carefully. Here our topic name is force, work, energy. 3 words: force, work and energy. So first of all, we have to know about force. What is force? Force is a push or a pull which either moves a still object or slows, stops or changes the direction of a moving object. Look at here. Force is a push or a pull which either moves a still object or slows, stops or changes the direction of a moving object. Clear? So we can say force is the form of a push or a pull, has to be applied to change the position of an object. You can see here. Study the above picture closely. Here there are some things that are moving, like car, dog, fan, aeroplane, sailboat. Okay, this boy also. So all these things are moving. Now question is there, are all the things that are moving living? That means these are living things. Yes or no? Of course no. We know that all living things move on their own, but non-living things cannot move on their own. Suppose here car is moving, but it is not a living thing. Likely aeroplane, an aeroplane is moving here, but this is not an example of living thing. Why? Because it cannot move on their own. Okay, so an external force and extra, okay, an external force in the form of a push or a pull has to be applied to change the position of an object You cannot move any object without using force. Clear? So force is a push or pull, which either moves a still object or slows, stops or changes the direction of a moving object. Now second word is work. What do you mean by the word work? Work is said to be done only when a force exerted on an object moves it in the direction of the force. Means here force is a push or pull which either moves a still object or slows, stops or changes. But work is said to be done only when a force exerted. Means when we applied an external force on an object moves it in the direction of the force. Direction of the force. Clear? Then we can say work is done. Now third word is energy. Energy means the capacity to do work. Energy means energy is the capacity to do work. That means we can say that all three words here, these three words are dependent to each other. Clear? Now let's discuss about it. We use force in every action we do in our daily lives. Even when you yawn or go to the loo, you are using force. Different amounts of force is needed for different actions. We use force in every action. Means even when you yawn. Yawn means you can say a reflex act of opening one's mouth wide and inhaling deeply due to tiredness. Means जम्भाई लेना. जम्भाई लेना. Clear? Or go to the loo. Loo means toilet. You are using force. Different amounts of force is needed for different actions. Look at here. Do you use the same amount of force to pick up your pencil as you do to pick up your school bag? Tell me. Do you use the same amount of force to pick up your pencil or your school bag? Of course not. We use different amount. We use the different amount of force to pick up our pencil and to pick up our school bag. That means we use less force to pick up our pencil. But when we have to pick up our school bag, we need large amount of force. Okay? Now we see here types of forces. Apart from the forces we apply in our daily lives, there are some forces which naturally exist in nature. These forces, namely gravity and friction, are acting on us all the time. Forces, namely gravity and friction. Gravity means the force of the earth pulls all objects down towards due to the force of gravity. All the objects. That means what is happening in each of the above instances. Look at here. Boy is falling down the earth. Fruit apple is falling down to the earth from the tree. Leaves here. So after initially going up, everything comes down. Why? Because due to the force of gravity. Whenever you throw anything in the air with a force which is more than the force of gravity, it will initially go upwards, but as soon as it loses this extra force, gravity pulls it down. That's why we can say gravity is acting upon every object, whether moving or at rest. It keeps us and all other objects from floating in space. Clear? Next, friction. Friction means whenever an object is moving ahead, the surface on which it is moving tries to pull the object backwards. This backward pull is called friction. Friction either slows down the movement of sliding things or stops them from moving. You can see here from this picture you can understand better. Friction means whenever we slide an object, there is a force which acts in the opposite direction. This is the force of friction. Clear? So guys, I hope